Kyouya is a 28-year-old guy who lives in Nara. He's been feeling really sad and regretful because he lost his job. He started to think back to the past 10 years and how he wished he had chosen a different path. One night, Kyouya meets an interesting woman at the river. She turns out to be a businesswoman who gives Kyouya a job as an intern at a video game company called Succeedsoft. Kyouya was so excited and was determined to work hard and start a career. But suddenly, his job was taken away from him again and he was left with nothing. He felt like a complete failure and lay down on his bed. Then, something magical happened. Kyouya fell asleep and woke up in the past, 10 years ago. He was so surprised and realized he had a chance to make a different decision in his life. He decided to go to an arts college instead of a regular one. He moved into a share house with some other people. When he woke up the next morning, he saw a cute blue-haired girl sleeping next to him. His roommates were Nanako, an aspiring actor, and Tsurayuki, a scriptwriter. At the welcoming ceremony, Kyouya meets his future boss, Eiko. It turns out that his roommates are the members of the Platinum Generation. Kyouya was so excited to be living with them. At the mixer, Kyouya learns more about Aki, the blue-haired girl. He is so happy that he got a second chance to make something of his life. The teacher Kano gave the students a very special assignment. She wanted them to make a short movie about time. Kyouya, Nanako, Tsurayuki, and Julia were very excited about this project and started to think about ideas. Kyouya had a brilliant idea: why not make the movie at the train station? Everyone agreed and Tsurayuki was a bit surprised because he thought it was his own idea. Then they were asked to join the Fine Arts Study Club. Kyouya didn't want to join because he was busy with their project, but Nanako and Julia thought it would be fun, so they decided to give it a try. On the day of the shooting, they realized that they had the wrong camera. Kyouya had to think fast and came up with a great plan. The plan was, instead of shooting a movie, they decided to take pictures at the station. Tanya used his editing skills to turn the pictures into an amazing movie. The day of the movie screening finally came, and their movie was a hit. However, they didn't get first place. Eiko's team got first place, and it turns out that Eiko is Professor Kano's little sister. Team Kitayama was disappointed, but they were still happy with what they had made. Later, Nanako and Kyouya went to karaoke. Nanako told Kyouya about her singing background, and Kyouya had a great idea. He wanted to record Nanako singing and put it online for everyone to hear. The gang celebrated their success with the Fine Arts Club. On their way home, Aki and Kyouya stopped to talk. Aki told Kyouya that her eyes don't sparkle the same way as do. Kyouya told her that she can't stop being an artist, and that he loves her art. Inspired, Aki said she will do her best to make her art shine. The team decided to go to the beach for their summer break assignment. It was very hot and sunny out there, but that didn't stop them from having fun. The team was joined by Eiko, a senior from their school, and the Fine Arts Club. They all worked together to make their movie and it came out great. While working on one of his part-time jobs with Eiko, Kyouya meets up with Keiko Tomioka, an alum who is the leader of the popular doujin circle, Housemates Soft. When it came time to show the movie, Team Kitayama won first place. They were so happy and celebrated at a karaoke club. But then something strange happened. Nanako, one of the team members, started to feel sad. Eiko had said something mean and Nanako ran away feeling very upset. Kyouya, the leader of the team, was determined to make Nanako feel better. He played a recording of one of her songs and told her that her singing was beautiful. Nanako was so touched and decided to keep pursuing her singing career. Kyouya and Aki were having a great time at the university festival. They had been helping out at the maid cafe that the Fine Arts Club had put together. After a couple of days of hard work, they had some time to explore the festival. They went to an art exhibit and Aki was looking at a painting with great interest. Kyouya also took a look, but he fell asleep when he saw the artist's name. When he woke up, he found himself in Aki's lap. It was the perfect moment for a kiss, but they were interrupted by an annoying phone call. It was Tsurayuki and he told Kyouya that they needed a replacement singer as the secret guest at the concert because the appointed one could not make it. Kyouya went to find Nanako and asked her to take up the role. She was scared to sing in front of so many people, but Kyouya showed her his laptop. He had uploaded her song the day before and it already had more than 10,000 views. Everyone was praising her for her beautiful voice, so Nanako was no longer scared. At the concert, Nanako sang God Knows from Haruai Suzumiya and the audience was captivated by her performance. When the concert ended, Kyouya and Aki resumed where they left off. They kissed, but Nanako had seen them. Even though she was sad, she didn't let her feelings get in their way. One day, they noticed that Tsurayuki had been skipping classes and working non-stop. They were all worried about him. So, they took him to the doctor's clinic. He told them that he had run away from home because he wanted to be a scriptwriter, instead of following his family's tradition of being a doctor. He was paying for his tuition by working several part-time jobs. Kyouya, one of Tsurayuki's friends, had a great idea. He suggested that they make a doujin game and sell it through Keiko's circle. They could use the profits to help pay for Tsurayuki's tuition. They recruited Kazu to do the background for their game, and everyone worked hard. But then, one day, Tsurayuki got a visit from his fiancée, Sayuri Jishoji. She was accompanied by a huge bodyguard. Sayuri wanted Tsurayuki to come home with her and become a doctor, but Tsurayuki wasn't ready to do that. Everyone kept working on the game, but it was getting very tough. Tsurayuki's friend Aiko noticed that Kyouya, their leader, was being too demanding and it was starting to make everyone tired. So Kyouya said that everyone should take a break and rest. But this wasn't a good idea, because when they started back up again, they were way behind schedule. Sayuri kept visiting the share house, but after a talk with Tsurayuki and Kyouya, she finally understood that Tsurayuki had to make his own decisions. So she went back home, and Tsurayuki stayed with his friends to keep working on the game. Kyouya had an idea. He said, "Let's make some changes to the game, and then we can get it out on time." But Tsurayuki was not happy. He thought his work was being changed too much. On the day of the deadline, Kyouya found out that the game had lots of bugs. He stayed up all night fixing them while the other friends were worried. Finally, it was ready. The game called Harusora was a huge success. Everyone was so happy. But afterward, Tsurayuki decided to drop out of school. He felt like Kyouya was doing too much for him, and he wanted to make his own decisions. Kyouya was filled with regret. He talked to his friend Keiko, and then he went to bed. When he woke up, he saw that it was 11 years later, in the year 2018. He was married to Aki and had a daughter named Maki Hashiba. He was a college graduate who worked for a gaming company called Attraction Point. One day, Kyouya was asked to go to work. When he arrived, he was greeted by his coworker Miki Morishita. She took him to see Eiko, who asked Kyouya to check up on Minori Saikawa, the illustrator for the current project. When Kyouya arrived at Minori's place, he saw she was struggling with her work. Kyouya encouraged her by pointing to her impressive collection of works. When Kyouya returned home, he was shocked to find out that Aki stopped drawing years ago. Kyouya was dismayed to discover Nanako had retired from her career as a virtual idol, and Tsurayuki had never written any novels. Kyouya was filled with sadness and regret. He was soon comforted by Aki, who explained that she stopped drawing because she stopped having fun. Kyouya realized the rush to get the game out quickly was at the root of the problem. 1 month later, Kyouya is busy working on a special project. He and his friends Eiko and Miki are building a game called Mystic Clockwork. But there's a problem. The game is taking too long to finish, and the boss wants it to come out soon. Eiko and Miki try to tell the boss that it's impossible, but he won't listen. So Kyouya and the team must work extra hard to make the game ready for its release. But something else is happening. Minori, the artist who draws the characters for the game, can't finish her artwork in time. Kyouya and Miki go to her house to help her, but she's still having trouble. Finally, the game is released. Everyone is excited to play it, but soon they realize it's not as good as they thought. It's filled with bugs and glitches, and the characters don't look like they should. Kyouya and his friends are crushed. It seems like Mystic Clockwork is a failure. But then something magical happens. Nanako, who had retired from singing, uploads a beautiful new song. This gives Kyouya the inspiration he needs to get the game back on track. He went to the president of the company and told him his plan. He wanted to switch the game's engine with one from another company and give the people who played the game an apology. He also asked the president to give his team 2 days off. The president was hesitant, but he agreed to Kyouya's plan. Kyouya then went to see Minori again. He showed her the artwork they had made in college and it inspired her to start drawing again. Kyouya then found out that Eiko was leaving for Okinawa. He was worried that she was quitting the company. So, he rushed to the airport to meet her before she left. When he got to the airport, Eiko told Kyouya that he was not confident enough. She was also in love with him. Eiko left for Okinawa, but promised to come back soon. Suddenly, Kyouya saw a familiar face. It was Keiko. He knew that she was the one who sent him back in time. Kyouya asked her if he could go back in time one more time. She asks if he's sure about that. He may not be able to have the same happiness he's created for himself. A career, his wife, his daughter. He may not be as happy as he is right now. Is he really ready to cast aside this dream life? But Kyouya states that he doesn't want it to be at the expense of his friends. If possible, he'd rather face the challenges with all of them. Hearing this, Keiko was ready to wrap him back to the past. But he stops her right then. He still hasn't said goodbye to his family. When he returns back home, his daughter runs up to him and shows him her mother's drawing. As it turns out, she just felt like drawing after checking out the Mystic Clock game and, more importantly, after she saw Maki draw something. This makes the guy emotional and he instantly hugs them both. That night, Aki tells him that she's happy as things are. There's Maki, there's him. It's a wonderful life. Though she did feel quite nostalgic when she drew today. After breakfast, he's ready to leave. Both Aki and Maki say goodbye, but seeing how this may be the last, he hugs them both real tight. Kyouya meets up with Keiko, but before he's wrapped, she also helps him realize that his actions aren't the only reason their paths changed. Just look at Aki. She's happy with the way things turned out. Then there's Minori. She's also another artist that he helped through his actions. As long as he doesn't self-indulge or destroy the blockchain economy by buying unhealthy amounts of Bitcoin, he can live without regrets. Just like that, Kyouya wakes up in the past. Tsurayuki has already dropped out. However, he doesn't try to go after him or change his decision. Time begins to pass by. Nanako seems to be overly dependent on him, but he makes sure to always prioritize her independence. While Aki doesn't feel like drawing at all. Then one day, Kyouya is off to the campus. A clumsy girl bumps into him. She has a copy of their game Harusora with her. It doesn't take long before Kyouya realizes that she's the illustrator Minori. Of course, since she's now his junior, he starts helping her out. From the looks of it, things may eventually end up as they did in the future. But what Kyouya meant was the desire to experience it all, to not have any regrets. But then the ending leaves us with a massive cliffhanger when Kyouya accidentally comes across Tsurayuki right in front of a theater. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you at the next one.